I always love that video for XU, and I love that every time we decide to play it on broadcast, we curse the guy because FlyQuest Academy came out and took game number 1 in incredible fashion. So I want to start by talking about them here and hyping up some of the individual players that stepped up to the plate. It was mentioned on broadcast. Cubby, I want to start with the Tomo conversation, given the reins on the Jinx, and he delivered.
He was great, and it's a game where, we've been critical of Tomo's positioning. He has no help in this game. It's all about how well his front line can kind of play and distract, but you're a Jinx with Renata. It's not like you have a Tom Kench. It's hostile takeover. It's how well you can play it, and Tomo, his positioning was fantastic. He was really never under threat, and the one fight where Dignitas threw the kitchen sink at him, he dealt with it, he lived through it, won the game. Deathless bot lane performance from FlyQuest. It's really good to see at the right time. These guys, again, stepping up. We know what they can do.
I want to highlight Kumo next, but to put the bow on the Tomo story here, I want to just hype up this player who I think has kind of gotten almost forgotten in a way when we look at a lot of the native North American 80 carries that came up around the same time. Yawn, Spawn, Tomo was in that conversation as well for a while, and he hadn't necessarily been having as many consistent stand-up performances, but if he can get more performances like this, then hey, eyes will be on Tomo going forward.
I was about to say, Tomo's had many good performances. Think about, he's won Academy before when he was on Cloud9. He was promoted to the LCS where, sure, it wasn't the best stint, but that's a lot of pressure to put on some new players. And then he's popped off like we looked to spring. That was really when we saw the bot lane with Chico's really fully activate. We're starting to see glimpses of that again now, and this is the time to do it. It's do or die, and you keep picking up these games. CLG did lose 0-2 to Cloud9 on the other stream. So, you talked about that possibility. I was saying it wasn't realistic, but if they win both these games, that means they're only 2 games behind CLG.
Well, Magical's always been a believer in Tomo, as it would seem, and now we're going to send it into pick and ban for game number 2, and with that, I will leave the Kumo discussion open to the two of you. Magical Cubby, take it away.
Well, if we got to touch on it really briefly, because we're getting right into this one. Seeing no changes really at all. We look at Kumo, it might be a run back, because I don't see a single thing that is different. No, I do not. But let's talk about Kumo. Let's just do it for Steve's sake. The Camille, not the best lane phase, but once the team fights broke out, that's where it really was Kumo's time to shine.
Barely survived getting solo killed, but he was fantastic in that game. And for Kumo, it really feels like the two members we've been asking the most to step up have been Kumo and Tomo. They both had great performances in that one. So it makes me excited going forward. And as we return to Dignitas, did tease that we could see some changes in the draft. This is not the same draft we saw last time. It's now confirmed as Hoon going to pick up that Gnar that, of course, was banned away from him in the second phase of draft in game 1. And then JJ on the Lulu, more committing to the Neo carry.
I kind of like that too, because you even said you wanted to see that Lulu picked up to try to really bolster the lane a little bit more. The Yuumi is something that would work as well, but the Lulu kind of works also as a deny towards Diamond, trying to build around Tomo on this Jinx again. Even though it could still be the same thing we see from last time, that Renata worked out all right, but you have some things that have changed. You now have Silas, more of that melee in the mid lane. You don't have Spyrex onto that Rise that was able to kind of work around the range advantage that they had over a very low range composition Dignitas once had.
Yeah, Renata taken away instantly here from Tomo, but Diamond has a very deep champion pool at support. And it's a curious draft in the moment because Dig, they have a support and top laner locked in, whereas FlyQuest have mid jungle. So we can see bans get thrown at each. Maybe we see a Viego taken away here if they don't want to deal with that from XU. And also, if you are on the side of Dignitas, do you take away a champion that you don't want to face in the Gnar? Kumo, his Camille was really good last game. We haven't seen Camille taken in the Gnar nearly as much. Is historically a decent option. Will not be the case. Going to be a Rise ban and a Nautilus ban.
Interesting.
So, yeah, really sticking to making sure that they guarantee those bans land in the roles they're worried about. Karma could be interesting for Diamond.
Or it could be his Thresh, one of his most played, actually the most played champion he's had in his entire career. But we get Blitzcrank! Yes! Finally!
So,
I'm
you
excited.
never casted a Blitzcrank game from Diamond last split.
Nope.
He played it a lot.
I know he did.
I think Blitzcrank is really slept on right now. He keeps on getting these small buffs to move up the chain. His base stats and damage are actually very strong. If you connect with the hooks, the silence is really strong. And into Lulu's Zeri, you can take away the shields with your ult too. So I really like this pick for FlyQuest. I think it's good given what's showing. You can combo with Wukong really nicely. We'll see if Diamond's up for it as Insanity. All right, this game just got interesting. Again, I don't think we have not seen a lot of Galio so far this split. I know we've seen it at support. I don't know if we've seen it mid yet.
Right.
It's Galio mid for Insanity. It's a matchup that does favor the Silas, but the early playmaking for Dig with Galio is huge this game.
This is really fascinating to see the changes that we have going into this draft. With Gnar in the top lane for Hoon, Kumo decides to answer with his own Yone, something that he has performed very well on as of late.
Yeah, it helped FlyQuest go pick up a win into EG when he played it in the Surtees. Gnar, this draft, though, is honestly really fun.
Yeah.
As we have a lot of different things being thrown here. I gotta say, overall, FlyQuest, I favor them as the game goes on. I think the scaling with the Yone, the Silas into Galio, you have the team fight with the Wukong, the Jinx, it's really, really good. That said, Dignitas with this Galio, they can make so many early plays, so many early dives. They can make life hell for the side laners of FlyQuest.
Okay.
Want to see if Insanity and XU can work together to make sure those early plays connect.
So that's where I was going to ask, because you have a Zeri on your team. You have a Viego, things that do well like in that mid game. The Zeri also something that can scale into the late game with a lot of peel around it. So I was surprised that you were so heavily indexing towards the side of FlyQuest for the late game, but it makes sense. They have a little bit more across the board, while when we look at what Dignitas bring to the table, it is a lot of skirmishing. It's a lot of fighting. So let's get onto the Rift and just watch this. I'm excited for this game. You've hyped it up plenty for me. You know me, I like my team fights. I like the skirmishes. I like shenaniganeries. Dignitas Academy facing off against FlyQuest Academy with a game favoring FlyQuest and Dignitas, possibly their final game together as a roster. We still don't know definitively, but it could happen.
And the Blitzcrank will be spotted out early, as I know you do love your shenaniganeries, Mad Magical. No one is better for that than Blitzcrank.
I love him. He's one of my favorite champions.
Let's see if Diamond can rock him this game.
Rock 'em, sock 'em, robots.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a skin that kind of looks like it.
No, he doesn't. That's the Witch's Brew.
Oh, I mean, I feel like the way the Blitz moves, every skin kind of looks like Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yes, that I'll give you. But the best one is still the Boom Boom Blitzcrank, where he actually has the boxing glove.
That's a good one. I personally rock the Piltover Customs Blitzcrank because, you know, I can't afford a Ferrari, so you know that's my feeling of trying to, you know, work in a nice car.
All right, okay, I can respect it to a degree. Spyrex now venturing on his own, puts a ward down, will be cleared pretty instantaneously by Dignitas, but does give the information to FlyQuest to Yuji on where XU is.
And it's mirrored starts, so we're pathing towards the Blitzcrank lane for FlyQuest. That makes sense to me. I'm really curious to see what the first move, though, is for Insanity plus XU. This is, whenever you play with Galio, it's so important to get off to a good start in the games and utilize the real strength of your kit, which is the early levels. Fighting with Galio early, he is a nightmare to deal with. He has so much damage and CC in his kit. It just means that the first few levels are that much more important for the side of Dignitas and Insanity. Really want to see what he can make happen.
And this is where I find it really interesting, the Galio versus Silas matchup, because you can argue nearly the same thing for Spyrex. Tag teaming with Yuji and how they can move around the map.
Yeah, so oftentimes we see Silas be used as someone that you can set up around in the mid lane. In this matchup, both mid laners have some gank assist. Galio, though, very much stronger in the 2v2. And in this matchup, Spyrax needs levels on the Silas to really get going. Because then, when you get enough points in the Kingslayer, you just kind of out-heal the Galio and deal with them from there. But at the moment, Dignitas want a 3-wave dive, potentially, onto Spyrax, as XU was hovering. Was not able to find it, will return to his jungle, and just be delayed to camp, looking for that play.
Silas not the easiest champion to dive, just with, unless you can burn a lot of those cooldowns prior to it. You can always just heal back up to full, can lock you down for quite a while. Galio also being very similar. Not the easiest for them to dive mid lane, which is why, going back to the conversation we were having, I don't expect to see much action in mid lane. I expect it to be elsewhere. The plays that Insanity and Spyrex want to make with their respective junglers.
So far, no plays being made. That's good for Yuji, as Wukong really wants that level 6, and the winning angles for Viego in this matchup are mostly early. So we'll see
nice
what happens.
Justice Punch, the flash away to make sure the top will not connect, but Yuji dodging away from a little bit of damage on his own with that decoy.
F4.
More just making sure nothing happens, but bot lane is where the action's happening because JJ had to flash away. Diamond has flashed himself, but I don't think he wants to go any further. Back to mid lane, going back and forth, back and forth. I don't see anything else happening. All right, let's go top lane. Why not? Why not? Just go top lane, fight. Kumo snaps back. Why don't we go mid lane again? Here we go. Do they fight? Nope.
Bot lane, maybe? Huh? We got some more. Diamond's trying to hide so he can
But
pull
he's
the
by
wave.
himself. He's by himself, though.
He's trying to hide so he can pull the wave. Save most of it for Tomo on the back half. We'll see if he's able to step up or if they find anything else. As one creep will go to the wayside, but now Diamond
There he is.
will show. Yeah. He's
Tops
going
the
to try
backs.
and stall.
Yeah.
He can't hold it forever, but
Yeah, but he's got a shield, so at least he gets a lot of time, so Tomo should be able to show up and get the cannon minion. Well, it got perfect timing
Good
on
play.
that, and that, exactly, it's a good play from Diamond. Make sure that Tomo's still getting the gold necessary, and we already can see how much control they're able to gain as a duo. They have the synergy that goes back a long time, all the way back to Cloud9 Academy, when they played with one another and were able to take wins, and they won Academy. So now, we get to see more of that again. We get to see this bot lane that has been together for a long time performing to the level we have always expected them to.
Axu is yet to base. Skipped over some of the top camps to take the second crop away from Yuji. Like that from Axu in the jungle matchup. And we'll see if Insanity fully commits to a move in the bot side. Insanity has gotten the flash out of Spyrax, but has yet to base. So it looks like each of our mid laners are going to take a base now. Insanity, we'll see if he walks or TPs back to lane. But if he does TP back, that would be a window where they can try and look for a play. Will not be the case. Going to be a base from Axu. As much needed base is coming in for those two as they get to recall.
But Insanity has hit level 6, so he could use the heroic entrance to gain the foothold over Spyrex for the time being. Especially because he's now got Oblivion Orb in his inventory, which makes it even more difficult for Spyrex to step up to Galio to try to efficiently push back the wave.
Yeah, talked about the Kingslayer healing being so important in this matchup for the Sylas. I think the breakpoint for Sylas comes for sure around level 9, but I will say they have changed some of the numbers around Galio. As his Q hits a little bit harder now. The the Q wins the war. The procs do a little bit more damage.
So JJ's just hanging out. He's trying to bait in. Like, you can tell Insanity's like, come on, fight me. Come on. You know you want to do it.
He's trying to bait everyone in.
Exactly. And now Diamond, Yuji, they're on the other side. The flash in from XU, the flash away from Diamond. But now the heroic entrance was used by Spyrex. They will be answered by first blood for the beep boop blitzcrank, punching them left, right, and center. JJ now getting chased down. Diamond waiting out that rocket grab, but doesn't have it yet. JJ will survive, but 2 picked up by FlyQuest.
And Dignitas, I think they thought it was a 2v2. They didn't see Yuji, who snuck into that brush, was able to turn around the fight. Didn't even have level 6, but that wasn't needed. The 6 for Spyrax was enough, as the Galio heroic entrance used by the Sylas helped to make...
Kumo? Oh, no, Kumo does... Oh, okay, no, he didn't get the last turret aggro. I thought that the last turret had fired off another shot and he was going to die, but you know what? Maybe it is calculated. Maybe it's Maybelline.
I am surprised that Kumo went for that, just given that I know he got flashed, but Hoon is the one that has TP. So now Kumo's very low and stuck in this lane. As his best play is to try and pull the wave and then...
I don't know.
Make it even. He's got to match the reset. There's no way he can stick around. Because it's going to be a TP back from Hoon, and then kind of doom for Kumo.
So he might have to sacrifice a plate.
Oh, he's pushing the next wave. That means it's going to get frozen on him here by Hoon.
Yeah, well, I mean, that might be the best case scenario for Kumo, because it gives him enough time. And now, mid lane, rocket grab, but Justice Punch interacts weird with it, so you can utilize Justice Punch and you're unstoppable, essentially, once it's going.
Yeah, it's somewhat similar to Tristana's rocket jump. If you cast it during, and you get hit by a CC during the cast time, you're okay. But now, Insanity,
Taunt, and
that's
look
a bonus
at
member.
Yuji just seems to be in the right place at the right time.
Again, it was a setup for Dignitas in the mid lane, but it's read by the side of FlyQuest. And Yuji and Spyrax, I mean, the first game they found the pick onto Insanity with the Rise, but this time around with Diamond, they found two big fights where they had a numbers advantage, reading Dignitas like a book. And the rookies for FlyQuest, they cash in. Been a really good best of two from them.
This goes back to the points we were making, even though last game contradicted that a bit. These rookies have been carrying the weight of FlyQuest in a lot of the successes they've had in this summer. And so now that they are started off with quite a lead, especially for Yuji, we look to see how they can play it around the rest of the map, really trying to see if they can set up Tomo, but Exu had to flash away. Will be fine for now. He's got the protection, but wait, why is everything happening at once? Why do you guys keep doing this to me? It just seems constant. It never stops. Diamond will die.
Oh, no.
They got Neo. He's gone, and Tomo was able to take him down. Now JJ looking for the kill, trying to see if they can get him, but JJ will survive. All the while, Hoon, I told you, Cubby, if it's not once, it's twice. It's happening all over the map, and Hoon will fall to Yuji.
Oh, man, and Dignitas, we talked about their draft. They needed to hit the early spikes with the Galio, needed to make plays. But because Spyrax and Yuji have read Dig like a book, they can't get out of the map. They can't do anything to help their side lanes. Galio's been stuck mid. He's gone down twice, and everything is collapsing in favor of FlyQuest. As they're ahead now in every lane, they have a Rift Herald, and this swan song for Dignitas doesn't seem to be going their way.
No, it seems like they are struggling. Maybe the reality is a little harsh on them with all the moves that can definitely get your mental in a bad state. But for FlyQuest's sake, it's looking pretty hot. It's not like it's just been mistakes out of Dignitas. It has been great plays from FlyQuest across the board. So let's take a look at the bot lane play where Diamond starts it all off.
Oh, what a hook from Diamond. They chain it with the Chompers as well. That's such good stuff from Tomo and Diamond, who were playing the Blitzcrank Aphelios lane into Jinx Tahm Kench consistently in the last split. Busted out into a Lulu here. Blitz into Lulu is a great matchup. Diamond showing why. As Hoon, and Rift Herald's taken. That's pretty aggressive from Hoon to go in. He gets rightfully punished, and Dig just falling to the wayside. Again, I mean, this really is a bummer for Dig. This is a roster where, like, if they keep on competing in Academy, I know they aren't having their best series today, but we really felt like these guys could have been a team that's competitive. But sometimes you got to be in service to your LCS team. Dignitas made a business move. Trade with River.
Well, and speaking of the river, looks like JJ and XU have been caught out, but they're trying to engage onto Spyrax with JJ using Wild Growth on himself. They canceled the heroic entrance for Insanity, and now he is in trouble. He had to Justice Punch just to get away, but it forfeits Dragon Control.
And Yuji, 4-0-1 very quietly. Again, the big thing that Yuji talked about with his offseason, when he went back to Mongolia, it was that he didn't really have time to, or he couldn't play solo queue. He spent his time studying VOD, studying lanes, seeing how his laners played, and that's been the big improvement for Yuji this split. Reading where he needs to be on the map for his team instead of for himself, that's been a big evolution for Yuji. He's been wonderful at that in this series as Kumo. Good night.
I get a solo kill on Kumo. He's still alive.
Sidestep.
Dodges the boulder. Kumo somehow skirts death.
Good sidestep, but hey, the price has already been paid here by the side of Dignitas. They're down 4k gold at the moment, man. Magical is...
Oh, no! That pull onto JJ. Respect the robot! Blind. The rocket pull. It doesn't matter if it's blind. You always have to expect Blitzcrank is on the other side.
Bro, it matters if it's blind because it's sick. Diamond's Blitzcrank is nasty. We saw it in the last split. He didn't drop a game on Blitzcrank, I don't think. The Blitz Aphelios these guys played was so good. And Diamond, again, this is a champ that keeps on seeing small buffs, is really good into Enchantresses. Diamond taking full effect of that in this game, as him and Tomo have been fantastic, and Diamond and Yuji are just running the Rift.
Great to see, both young and old, in Academy's sake, running this map well for Dignitas. 4-0-2 for Yuji, 1-0-5 for Diamond. Nearly 100% kill participation for both of them, with the bot lane plays being a little bit rambunctious by FlyQuest. None of them each their own independent leads, which is also the impressive thing to look at. He's haven't only just been off the back of one, but Yuji is there to make sure that they can gain more.
Oh boy. And if this wave connects with the turret, that enables Diamond to wrap around, try and look for a rocket crab. Will not be the case, as Dignitas will pick up that wave. But FlyQuest can now shift their power not only into the top side jungle, but into mid lane, where they can push in Zeri and try and take this mid outer. That's the next step for them.
This is a great glow up for FlyQuest. Keep going back to how they had this huge slump. And to see them performing to this level, it reminds me of what we saw in week 1 with these kind of plays to catch Neo out.
All right, Blitzcrank 101. If an enemy doesn't have flash, and you do, flash, power fist, into the hook. That's all you need.
Exactly, and now a little bit of re-engage onto XU. Spyrex took a lot more damage, so they do have to be a little bit cautious. Diamond does not want to be there as he is low himself.
Love seeing Diamond. I mean, this is a champ that he has expertise on, showing that again as FlyQuest talked about, you know, Dignitas showing 3 members to try and protect that top outer. It allowed FlyQuest with the Moby Boots on Blitzcrank to shift their power elsewhere. They find a lot for it as they take a kill, a mid-outer, and FlyQuest continues to blitz Dignitas in what is really been a surprising best of 2 here at Mad Magical. We did not come into today thinking that FlyQuest were going to beat Dig in fashion like this. It's still the same Academy roster Dignitas ran last week with Neo. Man, it really looks like FlyQuest have upped their game, and they've read every play that Dig has wanted to go for in this series.
To me, this is deja vu from what we saw in week 1, back when Philip was on the roster. That's how consistent they're playing all across the map. Their rookies are performing. The veterans are performing. Everything seems to be like a well-oiled machine.
And nothing's going to slow them down now. As FlyQuest, we mentioned start a draft. They're the scaling composition out of the 2. They're up 6k gold. And we might have the opportunity to podcast the rest of this game, Mad Magical. As I think the one way that we could see Dignitas get back into this one, Galio Viego plays, try and get a reset. They have to attack a side, though, where they have numbers. As you can see,
but
XCJJ.
didn't you say that Dignitas, this composition really had to try to get ahead in the mid game, try to make sure that they're getting these fights everywhere.
This game's over. I'm just trying to, you know, prep the win con in case Dignitas, you know, do something good.
Okay.
What I would do in Dig's shoes, there really is not much of a play, and we can see that on the map as second rift was taken by FlyQuest, last outer taken by FlyQuest, and that gold lead is now 7k.
You know what they could do? Is they could have 5 picks in a row. And if they can make that work, that actually might help them out massively. But Insanity is the one who almost got picked.
And at least got one summoner spell out, as XU can chase with Lulu. We'll see how aggressively Neo wants to hop over this wall, but that tower's up. Yeah. Members of FlyQuest are back, as Kumo and Hoon throwing rocks to fight over the mini rocks. As Diamond comes in, is spotted, and
that was a nice ward placed down by Hoon.
Was it?
Because it makes sure he was thinking about diving in. I could tell. I could see the look in his eye. He was like, do I fight Kumo now or not? So he puts the ward down, sees Diamond's like, okay, no.
It's free gold over to Diamond, man.
Yeah, but is it really that much?
All right, well, I'm trying to get into like alternative science here for the League of Legends, as the 75 gold paid to give 10 gold over for that information. Is that worth it? Is that not?
I think so.
In this economy,
it's better than losing 300 gold to your opponent.
In this economy, Mad Magical.
Yeah, 300 gold is a lot.
All right. That's true. You know, maybe it would be deflated gold amounts, as I guess it's only 0-1.
No, it would not be deflated.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. As the economics of League of Legends might be more interesting than the rest of this game at the moment, as FlyQuest, it is still all them.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of the economics, I do not trust the shopkeeper. Who's to say what the actual price of all this stuff is?
Oh, that would have hurt. Okay.
That would have hurt. But you know what I'm saying?
No. I always trust Boris because Boris forces teams to lose.
How does he force teams to lose?
Because he mind controls people into buying the wrong items. That's why, Mad Magical.
Okay. Okay.
I love when I'm able to get so outlandish that I even throw Mad Magical off. That was really my goal for this one.
That's how you always know you got a good one. When I'm
yeah.
Even I'm like, okay. No, I just don't trust Boris. But that's a whole other thing.
You know what I do trust in, and that we should probably recognize at this point?
That?
A perfect game is on the table for FlyQuest
It
Academy.
is.
But
now that you've said it, it's not going to happen.
I had to recognize it. I'm not cursing them. I'm just recognizing that it's on the table. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I'm pretty sure you just cursed them.
Okay. Well, we'll see if that's the case. As it's been a clean one. And it again, this is a legitimate comp where they can perfect game. You have Blitz plus Jinx. You get 1 kill in a fight. Jinx gets excited. You can go ham. And that's exactly what FlyQuest is going to be looking to do.
And again, I just gotta praise FlyQuest, a team that has been struggling for the last 2 weeks. How strong they've looked here, and now they go for this fight, but they gotta be careful, because there goes that perfect game. You jinxed it, Cubby. I called it that you were gonna be the reason it fell short.
It was a good setup. Poon TP'd with Mega to a ward behind Fly. Kumo doesn't answer. Instead, he takes the mid inner turret for himself, and Dig at least get something going for them.
You jinxed it. I can't believe you've done this, Cubby.
I'm evil. I don't know what else to say. Sorry to all the FlyQuest fans. It's still been a beautiful game from them. We're going to focus on that part of it now. Magical.
The fact that they trade the life of a support for the tier 2 mid lane, it's not even 20 minutes into the game yet, and they've already taken down...
Diamond's a bot anyway. He's playing Blitzcrank.
Literally, yeah. So it's like you've got 4 turrets to your name, you've got 2 dragons to it as well. You've got full control, even though Dignitas try to push back a little bit so they can get some bounty gold. It's them struggling. They're on Struggle Bus City. You talked about it. There's not really that much hope outside of finding pick after pick after pick after pick, and really it's got to be Tomo or Yuji they're picking off.
It was a lot invested into that one as Diamond. Oh boy.
Oh, but look at the advantage. Spyrex is there. Diamond is now just the sacrifice. They've got the advantage. Kumo into the back line, but Kumo's got to be careful. They have to flash away from Insanity, and now they're low. This could be Dignitas' angle to get back into this game. They got a little bit of damage on Diamond. The zap connects, and Diamond will fall. Bot is gone, and hey, another pick working out well for Dignitas, and possibly another one to get the flash out of Tomo.
Really good from the side of Dig. They got to do something. Start Baron. I'm all here for it. Flip the game.
Too.
This is the best case scenario that you have to really get back into this one. You were up a member. You got a flash out of Tomo. Bait FlyQuest in. Execute the fight onto the Jinx. That's the game plan here for Dig. Let's see if they can do it.
Hoon's got Mega as well. So now it's a little bit more risky for FlyQuest to get inside of the pit, but
Insanity
they still have UG with Smite. But keep in mind, XU, rarely does he lose out on Smite fights. With the pulse into the wall, Tomo was bounced around, but now it's a reciprocated toss on the wall coming in from Spyrex. So they are now the one taking down. They've turned it. It's a double kill for Tomo. They go get the zap, but who needs it? They already got the fight, and now with Spyrex on the other side, they have no idea. They don't know he's there. And so when he jumps over the wall, gets the upcon of Duck, Neo is going to be the first casualty, followed swiftly by JJ.
Very clean fight from Spyrex. FlyQuest win the 4v5 thanks to their wallets, and that's most certainly going to be the game. Dignitas had to push there. They had to try and make the play on the Tomo, but it was too good as the Meganar from Spyrex. Yes, Hoon connected on the Tomo, but he was the one that shoved Insanity away from following up with the W taunt. That was the big moment of that fight. They were not able to cleanly execute this on the Tomo. Again, this is a good idea. Watch Insanity. He's going to go for the W flash. Gets shoved away right there by Spyrex before it goes off. That's what enables Tomo to retreat. That's what enables Jinx to free fire in the back half. And that's why FlyQuest won this fight.
It is well done. And even here, another angle that Spyrex is able to find to get the complete ace. They have no idea he's there. They kind of think he might be, but think that he's also gone. So then they just get caught up.
Beautiful. Spyrex. So good in that fight. Also, shout out to Yuji. Just keeping everyone busy with the Cyclones as FlyQuest get back to their winning ways in this game. 12k gold lead. Hoon getting hunted now.
Diamond looks the
Just run
power
at him.
fist, does
Oh,
get that,
beautiful,
wins the
beautiful,
rocket
beautiful.
grab, and with grenades already placed down, Hoon, he does his damnedest to fight back, but we know what happens. It's Tomo unstoppable.
I love good Blitzcrank mechanics, man. It might be a simple champion, but Diamond's playing it very, very high level in this game. Is Insanity trying to sidestep everything that Yone's
he's
throwing
just
at
gonna
him?
die.
Woo.
Kumo, man, this is what happens when he gets Yone.
I feel like Insanity just kind of got Zoe'd there. No skill shots connected, and he still died. That feels like a Zoe moment to me.
I mean,
Or maybe a Yone moment?
It's an 80 champion, so you don't necessarily need to land all your skill shots.
That doesn't fit my narrative, man, Magical.
Well, that's why I'm trying to ruin your narrative, because right now, FlyQuest are ruining everyone's narrative going into this final week.
It's true.
Potentially taking a 2-0 over Dignitas Academy, a team towards the top of the standings.
One inhibitor for them. I want to return to that point, though, because FlyQuest, again, tomorrow, they play IMT. Going into today, they had one game on Immortals as they held that 6th place position. A 2-0 today over Dig, and then any games won tomorrow against IMT are so important and critical to them for holding that position.
I know you were looking for.
Oh, boy. That was close.
FlyQuest are also looking for the end of the game. Baron buff on top of their heads,
Yeah,
and they
big.
are wailing away
They're big.
at this mid inhibitor turret. There's Hoon, but missing the gnarl, so he's
Oh,
pulled
no.
back in. Heroic entrance will
ult.
get a triple knockout
good.
as Yuji is still alive. He baited him with the Cyclone, so they got the kill on Insanity XU. Might fall as
Neo?
well, but Neo, he's got damage. He could chase down, trying to see who can fight, but it's going to be Kumo who finds him out instead. The dive back in, rampage for Kumo, and Tomo is wailing away with Fishbones doing so much damage onto Neo. That Hoon, who's low as well, the TP as you get into the base for Sparks to heal up just a bit.
He gotta
and
run.
look to commit one final fight. Inhibitor is gone. The fight is there. JJ is dead, and FlyQuest will claim victory in this second game. A 2-0 start for the final week in the game. They keep holding strong and holding firm the line in the standings that they will be a top 6 team.
Few more kills for the KDA for FlyQuest. And, I mean, that's huge for them. Again, holding that top 6 position, but also a big step up, especially given the week 1. It was 5-1 with Philip. Since Kumo's joined, they've been 9-15. Feels like they haven't been able to replicate the same gameplay they had going in week 1. I think not all of that's on Kumo. I think Tomo and Diamond, haven't played quite as well the last few weeks. But their performance today against Dig, it was massive. Really, really good stuff coming out of FlyQuest.
That's what I was just about to say. It's like, yeah, it's not Kumo. It's like it's the whole element of the team. You can see that they were a little scattered, but this is what we wanted to see for so long. A well-oiled machine out of FlyQuest. These weren't just, struggling games to find victory. They dominated in these games. They looked so good on the map, and they deserve that 2-0 victory. But for now, we're going to toss a break. When we come back, we'll have an interview with the victorious FlyQuest Academy with Kingus. Make sure you stay tuned.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thanks for bearing with us as we got Diamond in for our post-series interview. So happy that we could actually get you in here, Diamond. Congratulations on a much-deserved 2-0 victory.
Thank you. It feels good to finally win some League of Legends.
I got to start with something that maybe is a little awkward. You are the one that prevented your team from getting the 100% perfect game, as you were all of your team's deaths. So just a little awkward there. But in all seriousness, that was a really big win for FlyQuest Academy, getting the 2-0. Because CLG Academy also went 0-2 earlier today, which means that you are now 2 games away from both CLG and Dignitas. So I'm curious to start off the interview, how much weight is the team putting on yourselves to make a big run this week, Super Week, to make a push for a top 4 finish in the regular season?
We actually don't really care that much about winning right now. I think it's like what matters is that how good we do later. So I mean improving rounds, right? Because last time we ended up in 8 anyway, and we still kind of almost made top 4. So I think it doesn't matter that much. I think what matters is if we get better and if we can get better, right? So I think that's all we're focusing on right now. I even know that we had a tiebreaker. We had to win it. Honestly, I'm just playing, so and see what happens.
Focus on the future. I think that's a good mentality to have going forward. But it is still cool to think that you could get a better seeding going forward, and you will even have a chance to go up against CLG Academy later on this week. What have you been working on going into the final week of the Academy regular season? What's the team's goal been?
I mean, we're just trying to figure out like what fits better for us and like how to play, like what's the best chance for this match for us. Because I think we've been trying a lot like new like things that are coming out, but mostly like we've been on the same patch for like 2 months now, so it's kind of figured out. So we just go with what works, and that's pretty much it. I think like we're just working on the just like what's best for this patch and us. So pretty much it.
So you're telling me Blitzcrank is meta right now?
I mean, they pick pretty good champs for this rank, and like I think with the way like Jinx works, like you just need the one kill to get a reset, and then the Jinx pops off and goes like goes full Arcane mode. I think that's just what we're like looking for in that game. So
Full arcade mode. I like that. Now, I want to give you the opportunity. I want to give you a podium here because we've chatted with Busio a little bit these last couple of weeks, and he's had some choice words about his opinions of you and your play because both of you were role swaps into the support position. He thinks that there's no competition and that he is clearly the best role swap support player right now. So I want to give you the opportunity for a rebuttal, Diamond.
I mean, I don't think Busio's bad. I don't think that he's great either. I think like the hype around him is a bit over. Like it's a bit too much. Honestly, it's not his fault. Like it's kind of like people pushing the narrative. So I don't blame him too much on it. I think it's funny that he goes along with it. Personally, I won Academy twice. He won Academy 0 times. So that's enough.
You hear that, Cubby? Maybe say it louder for Cubby in the back because I think he can hear this interview right now. 2 wins for Diamond, 0 for Busio right now, but he did make finals, so I'm excited to see a potential rematch
I made
between
finals
the two.
6 times, I think. 6 times? Yeah, I think.
Ooh! Ooh, keep laying it down, Diamond. You're 2-2 against 100 Thieves Academy so far in the regular season, so I really hope that you get another matchup going into Proving Grounds. Yeah. Now, I gotta bring up Proving Grounds again because I've been polling everybody, as many players as I can, who's willing to help us out with some content going into the event. And I know that you produce music on your own. Now, I've already gotten Darshan to commit to helping us create some musical number. We haven't worked out the exact details yet, but can I get your word, Diamond, live on broadcast that you will help us produce it?
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. It'll be fun. Honestly, like I don't mind it. I haven't been doing too much music lately because I'm kind of focusing on League. But you know, whenever there's if it's for content, I'm a content machine, and I will produce the content necessary at all times.
All right.
So,
Kelsey, I hope you're listening right now. We got to figure out a way. We'll all start talking on our end, and then our people will reach out to your people, Diamond. We'll get something to work
all
out.
good.
Okay. Now, final question here. I know you've been watching Players on Paramount Plus. I know the season finale is happening very soon, so I'm gonna ask, who's your favorite character on the show?
Actually, I don't know who's my favorite character. I kind of watch it like with I enjoy the show. Obviously, it's like a dramatized version of like League Pro Play. There's like a lot of like aspect of like what's happening that's actually like real. Like a lot of like the stupid stories that you hear actually happen. Like it's a real thing. But like
Yeah.
the characters are like kind of pushed over the top. I honestly I like the organism the most. Maybe I like the way like he's like evolving because he was kind of like this weird guy at first, and that's pretty good. And then like he's starting to become more of a human. I like his I like that aspect of him, and I like how slowly but surely like the cream cheese guy is like getting humble like as it goes on. I like that's like a trajectory that like a lot of like maybe newer players are really good that go through in the career, like where they're like really cocky, and then as it goes on and it's like they get humbled a bit more. So I think it's cool. Obviously it's like super dramatized, but it's still like really cool. I enjoy the series a lot, and like
Growth.
our boy Arrow's in the show, so we gotta we gotta represent Arrow. So my boy Bap.
Not having seen the finale yet, what do you rate the show out of 10?
Without seeing the finale, I mean it's a solid like 7 or 8. I think it's not bad. Like I don't think I will rewatch it, but I mean it's a good show, and I think people that like, for example, my mom watches it and she's like, "This is great. I get to see what's happening with League, like what my kid is doing all the time, you know." So I'm like, why not? It's fine.
All right, you hear that, Elias? Diamond's mom gives approval of the show Players.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming out and chatting with us, Diamond. I appreciate the words, and best of luck going into your preparation for the rest of the week.
Thank you.
All right, with that said, we'll bring back the casters here to close out the show on the second stream right now. We got Cubby and Magical coming back on. A Magical FlyQuest Academy, they did it!
They did
the
it.
2-0 victory!
I mean, it's incredible to see this kind of growth from them just from 1 week to the next. This is what we saw essentially in the first week. That's why we kind of always were bringing it back. When they had Philip in the roster, they all seemed like they were perfectly in synergy with one another. They had the synchronicity to make these plays cross map, where I might have grumbled a bit about it during the cast because I'm like, oh my god, when does it stop? When can I throw to Cubby? But if you look at each play, it was for a purpose. They were looking for certain plays to set up across the map and get themselves these advantages.
I think FlyQuest Academy definitely stepped up and made the race for top 4 very interesting. Because before it was a conversation between Dignitas Academy and CLG Academy, and which one of those teams would clinch it. But now FlyQuest Academy, they got Immortals, and then they got CLG. There is a realistic chance that they can catapult themselves up, especially with everything up in the air with Dignitas and not knowing what's going to happen with the LCS roster.
And FlyQuest can end that conversation tomorrow too. They play IMT. If they take a 2-0, that's top 6 secured, as EG did drop 0-2 to TL. Not a huge surprise for folks that have been paying attention to Academy, the form that Team Liquid Honda are in. But yeah, I gotta say, FlyQuest, seeing them look like that today, that's really, really promising moving forward.
But I want to give an opportunity to talk about Dignitas Academy and how they're looking right now, Cubby, because I know it's an 0-2, maybe not what we are expecting or hoping for from them, especially with what the rest of their week could look like.
It's tough. Like we've talked at times about how Academy rosters ultimately sometimes are in service to the LCS roster. And Dignitas with the River move, I find it a very fascinating move in the league for LCS, because I think it's the first time I've seen, a top players sold towards the end of the season where Dignitas aren't really looking to make playoffs or compete for a world spot. So I think it's a smart, I can see the business decision for Dig. And they get to start XU unlikely spawn moving forward, which makes sense to me, as those are 2 prospects that we think are really promising in their organization. But it's a bummer, because when you do that, even though I can see the business decision, it's kind of a feels bad for the coaches and the players, having to make changes so late into the season. And especially for Academy, this was and is a promising roster if they're going to start as 5. I really am bummed that we don't get to see where they go. I think that, for players, especially like JJ, that likely aren't going to be playing on the LCS stage, the work that they've put in so far to getting the roster to where it is and the form that these players are in, I think has been really, really good, and they deserve a lot of praise. It's got to be a bummer, as it does take away some of the competitiveness for both rosters towards the end of the season. That sucks as a competitor. I get the business decision, but my hearts just really go out to them, and I am bummed we didn't get to see more out of this roster swan song, as we're hearing it's likely to be different tomorrow.
It's a conversation that's been had a lot throughout all of sports, all of competition. Would you rather win on a lower ranked team or have the opportunity to play on a bigger stage, right? That's kind of the discussion that's being had here, is for the Dignitas Academy players. You have a chance to have a really good run at Proving Grounds, turn a lot of heads, prove that you have the ability to win against the field that you're in currently, or would you rather take that opportunity to step up early to the LCS stage? Either way, we'll see what Dignitas's decision is going forward, as it is all just our hypothesis as of right now. Nothing has been confirmed.
I mean, at least for XU, as we are assuming he's going to be playing in LCS, the documentary curse may not apply in that league. So
true.
That could be really good for XU moving forward. Because we're gonna send that over to LCS. I'm just saying it's gonna apply.
Oh no!
You have a chance to break it, XU.
Cubby, stop trying to jinx and curse poor Lawrence. You gotta stop.
I'm saying
this man needs to be stopped. Somebody stop this man.
No.
At this point,
LCS, it doesn't apply. Maybe we're gonna find out.
At this point, I'm not even gonna mention the documentary. Okay, I don't want to curse him anymore.
It's a great documentary
than we already have. So instead, I'm gonna ask that we take a look at the schedule going forward and what everyone can expect tomorrow, the second to last day of the Academy regular season for all of 2022. These are the games across the board. You can see which stream they are. Stream A is, of course, twitch.tv/academy. Stream B is twitch.tv/path to LCS. Speaking of, I mean, of course, these are all exciting matches. So actually, let's talk about this first before I do the transition in. What's your must-watch match, Magical?
It's obvious.
Oh, it's obvious. Kobe's not wrong. It's Team Liquid versus Cloud9. That's going to be a banger. I am so excited for that one.
Yeah, also, both those teams dominant 2-0s today, according to what I'm hearing from the mainstream. So adds even more excitement tomorrow, where 2 of our top dogs are going toe-to-toe at the end of the season. TL has a tough schedule this week, guys. They play C9 tomorrow, and they play 100 Thieves to wrap up the week. So we really get to see our top seed battle-tested as we move into Proving Grounds.
Hey, that's always the statement, right? The fun commentary to throw out is if we're gonna be the best, we gotta beat everybody anyway. So I think for Team Liquid Academy, we're saving the best for last for them, and it's up to them to prove that they are really the best team in Academy as of right now, going into Proving Grounds. But with that said, that'll wrap up our broadcast here for day number 1 on twitch.tv/PathToLCS. There is still one more series going on the Academy channel. So we're going to wrap up the show here, and we're all going to hop into Twitch chat over there and keep cheering on the broadcast and the players. But for this broadcast, thank you to everybody on production for keeping the gears rolling, for Cubby and Magical being incredible casters on the day, to everybody in Twitch chat cheering on your favorite players, and to those players themselves for putting on an incredible show. We will see you at twitch.tv/PathToLCS. Check, no, actually it's Academy. Magical, can you write one real quick? Twitch.tv/Academy. We will see you over there right after this. Magical, have about enough time for you. I'm going to try and just keep filling air so you can throw it up right there. We'll see how good your penmanship is. I don't know how much more I can talk about. There we go. Twitch.tv/Academy. We'll see you there.